Make dua like the Prophet taught us, and with one voice let's all say Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair.
As precious as children are to parents, they could also be causes of agony in this life and in the hereafter if they are not properly trained. Giving a Muslim child only Western education is like building a one-footed player who sits on reserve bench for long. Qibla Schools Ibadan is capable of giving your child a sound Western and Islamic education with emphasis on art-based, science and technology courses. Even vocational training like sewing, soap making, tie and dye are not left out. With a well-stocked library and computer room, our students are ever prepared for all external examinations. Come rain, come shine. Buses are available for their movement as well as modern sporting facilities. Yet the teaching of Quran and Sunnah to Rasulullah is never compromised. See our seasoned tutors as they impact knowledge in these children with the fear of Allah. The excellent performance of our students at all external examinations and competitions is a testimony of our diligence and the favor of Allah on us. Qibla Primary School and Qibla High School are located side by side at plots 2 to 5 Ibadan Southwest Multipurpose Scheme near Aleshiloye Market, Ibadan. Telephone 0805-272-5253 or 0803-313-2027. Qibla Schools, we set the pace.
Alhamdulillah wa kafa, thumma salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy and favor upon us. We testify to His oneness, that He has no associate, He has no partner. We also testify to the messengership and prophethood of Holy Prophet Muhammad. May the peace and benediction of Allah be upon His noble soul, His household, His companions, and the heart of Muslims in the day of judgment. You are welcome to your favorite program, Message from Qibla, sponsored by Qibla Schools, Aleshiloye, Ibadan. Today, we shall be looking into Zakat-ul-Fitr. Zakat-ul-Fitr is popularly known in Islamic literature as the obligatory charity tax after Ramadan. And I want to believe that Zakat-ul-Fitr is understood by every Muslim, because we know that when Ramadan is running towards an end, we have an obligation which we must observe, and that is the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. So this lecture is just a reminder to remind us of the obligation so that we don't forsake it. And the ruling of Zakat-ul-Fitr in Islam, it is an obligatory sunnah on every Muslim that has capacity to feed himself in the month of Ramadan. So whoever is rich enough such that he could feed himself and his household without any problem, without any difficulty, then that person is capable of paying Zakat-ul-Fitr. And Zakat-ul-Fitr has been made obligatory on such Muslims. Because Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu said, "Farad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Zakat-ul-Fitr min Ramadan." Muttafaq alayhi. Ibn Umar said, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr obligatory on us in the month of Ramadan. That it is an obligation of Islam which every one of us must fulfill as long as we have the capacity to do that. على العبد والعر والذكر والأنثى والصغير والكبير من المسلمين. It is made obligatory upon the slave, upon the free person, upon male, upon female, old and young among the Muslims. So it means nobody is left out of the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. And the wisdom behind this obligation of Zakat-ul-Fitr is that tutahhiru nufus as-sa'im min al-lagwi wa rafas. It purifies the soul of the fasting person from any wrongdoing and obscenity. There are a lot of shortcomings we made while fasting in the month of Ramadan. The one we committed via our action, the one we committed via our attitude, the one we committed via our utterances. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we use the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr to purify our fast from anything that can reduce our reward in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is one of the things that we need to note that's going to serve as benefits of the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. So it purifies the fasting person from any obscenity and wrongdoing. And at the same time, it prevents the poor and the needy from begging on the day of Eid. Because the Zakat-ul-Fitr given to them will serve as provisions for them. Will serve as something they can feed upon on the day of Eid, that everybody is happy, they will equally be happy because they have something to eat. And ordinarily, they wouldn't have had anything to eat if they have not received Zakat-ul-Fitr. So you can see the wisdom behind the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. أَنَّهَا تُغْنِي الْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ عَنِ السُّؤَالِ يَوْمَ الْعِيدِ. So it will prevent them from begging for what to eat on the day of Eid. You know, there are so many masakin among us. There are so many poor people. There are so many needy family among us. And we also see them on our streets begging. We don't want it to happen to Muslims on the day of Eid. We don't want anybody to have cause to go and beg for what to eat. We want everybody to be self-sufficient in terms of what to eat, what to consume on the day of Eid. So if Zakat-ul-Fitr is given to the less privileged, is given to the needy people or to the needy family, then they have something to fall back upon to eat on the day of Eid. And it makes them happy. It introduces happiness into their minds on the day of Eid. Because if you have what to eat, you'll be happy. It's natural. So we want the needy family, the poor Muslims to be happy. We want those that are rich to make those that are in need happy on the day of Eid. Because on the authority of Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, he said, فرض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم زكاة الفطر تورط للصائم من اللغو والرفث وكرمة المساكين رواه أبو داود وابن ماجه. On the authority of Ibn Abbas, he said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made Zakat al-Fitr obligatory to uratul lis-sa'im, so as to purify the fasting person min al-lagwi wa rafath, from any wrongling and obscenity. Wa tumatul masakin, it will serve as provision for the poor, that is what they can feed upon. Abu Dawud and Ibn Majah reported the hadith. And we even have it in another narration where Prophet said, Adeyemo su'al fi hadha al-yawm, that let them be self-sufficient on that day, so that they don't go around to beg for what to eat. So if we are to follow the instruction of the Prophet ﷺ, then it means it is a must on those of us that we have the capability of paying this obligatory charity tax in this Ramadan. Most importantly, when the Ramadan is over and we are set for Eid. The Prophet said, make them not in need of begging on that day. So we need to make people happy, particularly those that we know that they are not self-sufficient, they don't have much, they don't have what to feed upon, by paying our Zakat-ul-Fitr. And as a matter of fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran chapter 87 verse 14 that قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى, that indeed is successful who observes the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. That is the translation of Ibn Abbas. Allah says, indeed, the person is successful who purifies his soul. Ibn Abbas said, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, is referring to in that verse of Quran, is the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. That indeed, the person that paid Zakat-ul-Fitr is successful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us success. And what is the measurement and the kind of foods that are paid as Zakat-ul-Fitr? The measurement of Zakat-ul-Fitr and the kind of foods that are paid as Zakat-ul-Fitr, we need to look into this because it has measure. It's not that we just give out anything that we like as Zakat-ul-Fitr. We have to measure it. To measure it is a tradition of the Prophet ﷺ. And the measurement to be used is sa'u. And that sa'u is arba'atu hamdaj. We have 4 mudus in one sa'. So one sa'u is meant for a person. So if we don't have sa'u or we don't have mudu that we can use, we can also use the tin of milk, the empty one. So the equivalent of sa'u is 12 tins of milk. So 12 tins of milk is equivalent to 1 sa'u. So it means 12 tins of milk goes for a person. So the person that we spearhead the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr is the head of the family. That is the father. If we pay Zakat-ul-Fitr on himself, that is 12 tins of milk. 12 tins of that tin of milk, the measurement. We are not using milk. We are only using the empty tin of milk to measure whatever foodstuff that I want to pay as Zakat-ul-Fitr. So 12 of each will go for a person. So the father will pay that 1 sa'u, which is equivalent to 12 tins of milk as measurement. Then we pay for his wife, we pay for all his children, both male and female. And if there is anybody that is living under his custody, he has adopted the person or he has been given that person to nurture, and he is the one responsible for the feeding, for the clothing, shelter, and everything for such a person, and that person is living under his care, we also pay this as Zakat-ul-Fitr. And the popular food in the community, the popular food in the society is to be used. So what everybody consumes in the community is most preferable. In our community, we have rice, we have beans, we have maize, we have millet, we have sorghum, and so on and so forth. All things that are popular as foodstuff in our community, in our locality, are those things to be used for the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. And we are going to pay 4 mudus on every member of our household. And the time Zakat-ul-Fitr is to be paid, it becomes important, it becomes obligatory on the day of Eid, before the Muslims set out for Eid Grand. That is when we are to pay our Zakat-ul-Fitr. However, some scholars have said we can pay it a day to Eid. If tomorrow is Eid, you can pay our Zakat-ul-Fitr today. You can pay our Zakat-ul-Fitr on the day of Eid. Before we set out for Eid, just go and give our Zakat-ul-Fitr to the needy Muslims that we want to give it to. And we need to note that money is not an alternative to food in the payment of Zakat-ul-Fitr. The difference between Zakat-al-Amwal or Zakat-ul-Fitr. Zakat-ul-Fitr is the food stuff you have to use to make Zakat-ul-Fitr, except for a necessity. And at the same time, the rich wife can pay as Zakat-ul-Fitr to a poor husband. It is permitted in Sharia. If a woman is rich and her husband is poor, she can give a Zakat-ul-Fitr to a poor husband, but not vice versa. And we also need to note that whoever does not own his daily food, that is his food for a day, Zakat-ul-Fitr has not been made obligatory upon him. Because la yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not put burden on his soul beyond his capacity. And it is equally permitted that the alms paid by one person, that is the Zakat-ul-Fitr paid by a household, can be given to a person, and it can be shared among many people. It depends on the quantity of that Zakat-ul-Fitr. And at the same time, Zakat-ul-Fitr is not to be transported from one locality to another, except for a necessity. The dwellers of the community where Zakat-ul-Fitr is paid are expected to be beneficiaries of that Zakat-ul-Fitr. Not that we now transport or we now take Zakat-ul-Fitr to another town, except for a necessity. We pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this act of ibadah possible for every one of us, and may accept it from us as a perfect act of righteousness. The school from which the message is coming, may Allah keep elevating the school, and may Allah reward every one of us abundantly. Ya la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. أقول ما تسمعون أستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Tí mo bá kàwé mi bàtà mi á dún kó.
tá a bá kàwé tá a fi tọlọ́run síwájú ní bàtà kókó kàífi rọ́ni lọ́rùn ẹsẹ̀ káfọmọlẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àlùkùránì àtẹ̀kọ́ ìwé tó yanrantí lọ́mọ fi lè ṣàṣeyọrí láyé tí ó sì tún jèrè ní àlẹ́ àhírà bá a kúkú fẹgbẹ̀rún pàǹṣàgùnmu àtìlẹ́yìn ẹ̀kọ́ gbóná ni tó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí n júwe Kibla schools Ìbàdàn fún yín ilé ìwé akéwù kàwé ṣe súnà tó ṣàrọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ Kibla primary school láti ń fohùn èlò ẹ̀kọ́ òde òní kọ́mọ ohun ìṣeré lóríṣiríṣi tí mọ̀mọdé jẹ̀rẹ̀ ilé ìwé lójoojúmọ́ àtàwọn olùkọ́ bí òbí lọ́lọ́run á la fi jíǹkì wà ti Kibla high school yìí gan tún wọ ìyàmì ẹ̀kọ́ ìmọ̀ sáyẹ́nsì ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ tẹkinọ́lọ́jì ohun ti ṣe ọwọ́ vocational studies lọ́bí ń káwọn ọmọ wa bí wọ́n ṣe ń kéwù ni wọ́n ń kàwé kódà a tún kọ́ wọn lẹ́sìn ní tìlànà Allah wa rasulihi ọkọ̀ ń bẹ ní sẹpẹ́tà fi ń káwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ àyíká wa àrímọ̀ lè lọ ni àṣeyọrí àwọn ọmọ wa níbi èsì ìdánwò àṣejáde gbogbo òun lè rí máa jẹ́ mi sọ ìtẹ́pámọ́ṣẹ́ àtàánú ọlọ́run àálà lórí wa Kibla schools wà ní plot 2, 3, 4 and 5 Ìbàdàn South West multi-purpose scheme nítòsí ọjà alẹ́sìnlọ́yà Ìbàdàn tẹlifon 0805-272-5253 àti 0803-313-2027 Kibla schools ìwájú lójúgùn gbé.
Hands and make dua like the Prophet taught us, and with one voice let's all say that